Hello
Hey guys, welcome back.
to Monday Night Live.
It's Monday Night Live with Dr. Ken and Nurse Nisha and Rhett Butler and Toto somewhere.
Well, he always hides when we go live.
Yeah.
Rhett is in my lap and Toto goes off and hides somewhere.
Gets very nervous. He doesn't want to be.
He says, nope, not
Singing.
today, Satan.
I'm happy to be back with you and thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in, don't forget that you can actually start a watch party and watch this with friends. You just click the button. You can share this on your page or
Hey, there we go.
on your profile. Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's a good picture tonight.
My neck is especially red today.
My highlight is especially gleaming tonight. I got the new Urban Decay, Game of Thrones, Mother of Dragons highlight kit, and
GOT makeup.
I'm loving it.
Wow. Just wow. I don't know.
I got it because it was Game of Thrones, but it's actually a really good highlighter. So
Yeah, it looks okay. Yeah,
glow,
I'm impressed.
glow, glow. Hey, Jessica.
Hey guys,
Hello to all of our supporters and patrons. We love you guys. Big shout out at the beginning because usually we get to the end, but I just want to talk to you guys at the beginning.
yeah, we met a couple of patrons on the cruise.
Yeah, several.
And that always makes my day when we meet a patron. It's like, oh, you're on this journey with us. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah,
We've
that's
got a
pretty awesome.
whole bunch of new ones because we were behind 3 weeks basically.
Yeah.
So I think I got almost everybody in, but if I haven't, make sure that you answer the questions when you go to request to join the patron private group.
There's
Because
2 or
if
3
you
questions.
don't answer the questions, you do not get approved. You have to
Yeah.
answer the questions.
Have to answer the questions. Hey, Travis. Hey, Jerry. Thanks for joining us, guys.
What are we talking about
Well,
tonight?
we've talked about it, and it's been a while, like a year, but we've talked about the heartburn medications, but there's some new research out, and I think we've got enough new listeners now that I really wanted to go back over this because it's so
Wait, what?
very important.
What did you say?
The heartburn medications.
Oh, I was reading the comments and I was I totally missed
Like,
what
wait,
he
what?
said.
What was it
Sorry.
again?
Okay.
That's okay.
Proton pump inhibitors.
Proton
and
pump
such.
inhibitors, exactly. And so we're going to talk about that. So if you know anybody who takes Prilosec, Nexium, Acifect, omeprazole,
Zantac?
Dexilent, and then Zantac is an H2 blocker.
It's not a PPI, but
Right.
it's still.
But it's still, it still does basically the same thing. It just
and
uses a
people
different
really
mechanism.
Overuse all
And
of them.
these medications serve a purpose, and I want to talk about that. But then I also want to talk about how you can misuse them and some of the terrible things that it can lead to if you take them for too long. So we're going to talk about that, and then as always, we're going to answer as many of your questions as we can get to. So, hey Barbara, hey Lori, what's that shadow?
Hey
Oh,
to
trees.
Kimberly. We saw Kimberly at Port Canaveral because she lives in that area, and she
Yes.
came and chauffeured us around, and we were very grateful because
So
it
awesome.
was hot.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah.
So she had a freshly air-conditioned prime car that she took us to Target, where I had to get some leggings that actually fit the bump because
Sandra
my
from Rhode Island.
other leggings made me look like I had a double bump.
You ever been to Rhode
Thank you.
Island?
No, have
I'd
you?
go. I'd go.
I like all of it. That's New England area? right?
Hey, Dr. Nell is here. It's an island that's also a state.
Okay.
I mean, that's cool. Like Hawaii, you know. I guess that's the only two.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an island?
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Really?
It's in the name.
Well, yeah, but sometimes things like Greenland isn't actually that green, and Iceland is more green than.
But I
You know
think
what I
used
mean?
to
Like,
they
some
were
names are
flipped.
like,
Yeah. So, who takes a proton pump inhibitor in the audience? Type the name in the comments if you do, and I want to see which one you take. Do you take Prilosec? Do you take Nexium? Do you take what's the new Dexilent? Do you take what is it? It's a proton pump inhibitor. There's Zegerid.
I don't know, so
That's
many.
also combined with a bicarbonate, and then there's one that actually they combined a proton pump inhibitor with naproxen.
Or did you used to take it, and now since you've been keto
Yeah.
carnivore,
Yeah.
or even just low carb, are you off of those? And
Yeah.
if you are, put that in the comments because that's something a lot of people like to see.
Yeah.
Is other people who have gotten off their medications by doing this diet because
Hey,
a lot
Lindy.
of people are like really scared.
Absolutely.
It's not really an
So-
island, Amy says.
It's not really an island. Well, oh man.
See?
I'm pretty sure.
Sorry about that. We're back.
Pretty sure I've got the moon on, but that just I guess iPhones just think that's a suggestion, not actually what I want. So, Do you take a proton pump inhibitor, or did you used to take one in the past? Put in the comments. We've got 1,000 people watching right now, and I guarantee you there's some people taking omeprazole or other ones that they think they're stuck taking that for life, and they're not. You don't have to take that for the rest of your life. There are ways around it. There are ways to improve your diet that's going to improve your gut health enough that you can wean down and stop taking that sucker. Okay?
So a lot of people think that Prilosec and all of those medications are meant to be lifetime medications. But
Well, they think you're safe.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's okay to take them
Yeah.
for life, but is that true?
No, not at all. And so all of the proton pump inhibitors are FDA approved for short-term use. There's not a single one of them that is FDA approved for long-term use. From 2 to 6 weeks, that's the FDA approval. Now, there are some clinical applications where I think it's reasonable to take them for 12 weeks. But after that, you need to stop taking it. Okay? And what happens is the side effects from them are pretty rare, the serious ones. We don't see a lot of that. And so the short-term side effects you can't see. These proton pump inhibitors, they slow down your absorption of calcium, which is important. They slow down your absorption of magnesium. Very important for people who are, we all try to get our magnesium, but what if you're taking a pill every day and you're taking the magnesium, but it just makes you poop it out? You don't even absorb it because of the proton pump inhibitor you're taking. They increase the risk of all kinds of gastrointestinal infections and probably systemic infections as well, because the acid in your stomach, first and foremost, it's normal.
It's supposed to be there.
You're supposed to have a very, very strong acid in your stomach because we're carnivores or omnivores. And all mammals like that have a strong stomach acid. In order to break down meat, you have to have a strong stomach acid, right? And that's one of the ways that we know that human beings are supposed to eat meat is because only carnivores have a stomach pH as strong as ours. And so whether you think we should be strict carnivores or omnivores and eat lots of fatty meat and a little bit of veg, either way, if you include meat in your diet, if you include any kind of protein food in your diet that's an animal protein, you have to have the acid to break down the protein. That's his first main job, is to break down your food. The second main job is it's a defense barrier. If you swallow a bacteria or a fungus or a protozoa, 99% of the time it's going to be dead. But as soon as it hits the stomach acid, it's done. It's dead. And so it's also a defense mechanism, because it is a lot of paleo anthropologists think that for a big part of our evolution, we would scavenge. And so the lion would kill something, and then we as a group would basically, after the lion was almost full, we would go and scare the lions off. And that's possible. There's actually a YouTube video of people in Africa doing that. And then we would take the rest of the meat for ourselves. And if that meat had been there for a day or 2 or 3, then you can see it's already starting to break down and decay. And so we were, in that respect, like vultures. Vultures have a stomach acid even stronger than ours because all they eat is rotten meat. Mm-hmm. And so they have to have that stomach acid to protect them. We're kind of in the same boat. And I don't think that that's how we evolved, as eating, scavenged meat. But I think that was probably part of how we didn't die many thousands of times in the past. And so we have to have it as a defense mechanism, but also it helps us to break down food so that we can absorb the nutrients. Now, what happens if you don't absorb the nutrients? That's where the chronic disease starts to come in, okay? And there are studies out there that show it's very meaningful research, and I'm a stickler for that. It can't just be some bullshit research and then us hang our hat on it. Sorry. It's got to be real research. And there is meaningful research that shows that your risk of having a heart attack is actually quite a bit higher if you take one of these pills daily for months and months and years. And that's one of the reasons I want you to wean down and stop it, okay? Hey, Linda. Another one is pneumonia, especially in older folks. If they block that stomach acid, that increases their risk of having a life-ending pneumonia. And so if you're over 40, you do not need to be taking Prilosec or Prevacid or Nexium or Zegrid every single day for months and months or years and years. Now, all of us have probably seen the news studies or news reports saying that your risk of dementia, like Alzheimer's and others, are increased if you take proton pump inhibitors every day for years and years. And so the patient gets used to the doctor prescribing it. They take it every day. They just make it part of their morning ritual. And then the doctor's not paying attention, and he's not keeping up with his reading, his or her reading, and so they wind up just renewing the prescription every time you go. And so you wind up, instead of being on Prilosec for 2, 4, or 6 weeks, which is entirely appropriate, you wind up being on Prilosec for 14 years. Not okay. Not okay at all. Another big deal for women is that the longer you take a proton pump inhibitor, the more brittle your bones become. You're
because you're not absorbing
the calcium, probably. At least that's part of it. But it's probably also you're not breaking down the collagen and stuff that you need, because that's actually the matrix of the bone, is the collagen, right? And so if you can't really break down meat and animal products, you're not getting the good amino acid profile you need to rebuild the matrix of your bone. And then you're also not absorbing the calcium either, and so you can't make your bones harder, and so you're really stuck. And so now let's talk about, okay, so you're taking a proton pump inhibitor, you've been taking it for 10 to 25 years, and now you're like, oh crap, I need to stop taking that. How do you do that? So first thing you do is talk to your doctor and say, hey, I've been reading a lot of news reports that it's bad to take this long term. I've started eating keto or carnivore. I feel like my diet is much better. And if any of you guys have stopped taking an acid blocker because of keto or carnivore, put it in the comments so the newbies can see that, because hundreds and thousands of people just don't need it anymore, because once you stop poisoning your gut, it gets better and you don't need the acid blocker all the time. But you don't want to stop these medications cold turkey. A lot of people make that mistake because they actually they block your chief cell's ability to make acid in your stomach. And so when you stop taking that acid blocker, the proton pump inhibitor, you can actually have a rebound heartburn or reflux that's very, very severe for a few days.
It can cause damage to your esophagus.
It can if it goes on long enough. Yeah. And nobody ever died of heartburn, but let me tell you, I've had it.
It feels like you are.
It hurts. It's not funny. And so what you want to do is wean down the proton pump inhibitor over a month or two. Okay.
Under the direction of your doctor.
Yeah, go see your doctor. None of this is medical advice, of course. We're just two people talking. But go see your doctor if you're taking, like, for example, 20 milligrams of Nexium. Or 40, God forbid. But say, hey, can I cut this in half? Will you give me a lower dose? And almost always the doc will say, well, sure, we'll try it and see how it goes. And then after you've taken that for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, then you can start taking that low dose every other day. And if you wean it down like that, you should not have that rebound esophagitis that's so severe.
What about Tums? Because a lot of people think that Tums are different from because the other ones, well, some of them are over the counter now, but they used to be prescription. But Tums have always been over the counter.
Right. And so what they do is they neutralize the acid. They don't block the production of the acid. And in reality, they only last for about 20 or 30 minutes in your stomach. And
that's why you have to eat them.
That's right. And so if you have a problem, the Tums is not going to cure it, but also Nexium doesn't cure it either. But Nexium just blocks the acid for longer than the Tums or the Rolaids would neutralize the acid. And so is taking a Tums or a Rolaids every now and then, is that okay? Is that safe? Yeah, it's perfectly fine, perfectly safe. You also don't want to take those daily. If you're having to take anything for acid reflux on the daily, you need to fix your diet, number one. And if that doesn't correct the problem, then you go see your doctor and say, hey man, I'm trying to get off this proton pump inhibitor. I fixed my diet, but I still have it. Maybe I need a scope, right? And they can do an EGD and they can look at your esophagus and at your stomach and at the first part of your small intestine called the duodenum. And if you might have a problem, they may have to do something, a little minor procedure to fix the heartburn. Some people have something called a hiatal hernia. And it's not a hernia in the classic sense. It's basically a portion of your stomach sticks up through the diaphragm, and that can be a setup and make you much more likely to have heartburn. But it's just because you have a hiatal hernia does not, let me repeat that, does not mean you need to take a proton pump inhibitor every day. It does not mean that. Most people with a hiatal hernia, when they fix their diet, it goes away.
There's a lot of people commenting on here, and you can see they're all like, I used to be on those, but I'm not anymore because I started keto, carnivore, whatever.
Yep. It's very, very common. And if you know someone who has daily heartburn, you can tag them in the comments so that they can check this out and maybe watch it on the replay.
Also, I want to say shout out to Lindy, because Lindy shared this video in Keto San Antonio, which is one of our favorite groups. I don't know that you have to live in San Antonio to be in that group, but if you, I don't know, you'll have to ask them. But it's one of our favorite groups.
Yeah, they're such rich and active, and they're so
They are,
helpful, and they're so
very
friendly.
accurate,
Yep.
which is, a lot of people are like afraid to offend people when someone says something wrong, but the leader, one of the main leaders, her name is Anna. She's the one that helped us set up the San Antonio event that we had, and she will be. She's so nice. She's the nicest person, but she will tell you if you were doing it the wrong way.
But she's not keto
But
police.
she is not like that. She is very kind. She shares research to back what she's talking about, and so if I don't know, Lindy, if I'm inviting too many people into your group right now, I'm sorry, but it's one of the best groups
It's an
that
awesome
I'm in
group
right now.
Yeah, just the vibe of that group is so awesome.
But feel free to share this in your groups is what I was getting to if you have permission. If not, then don't do it.
Yeah, you can share this on your profile or in your on page or in a group. You have our permission to do that. And if you do share it, type share it in the comments so we can thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about Malanta? Same thing as Tums, right?
Yeah, it just neutralizes the acid temporarily. And so say that you have something that happens. Maybe you have a bad you have a stomach bug. And a lot of times after a stomach bug, you'll have heartburn for a few days or a few weeks. It's perfectly fine to take Prilosec or Prevacid or Nexium or Zegerid for a week or two. Perfectly fine. That's what it's FDA approved for. And so you take it until the damage that was done by that stomach bug goes away. And so a lot of times when you throw up a lot with a stomach bug, you'll eat the temporary coating off your esophagus, then you'll have heartburn until your body rebuilds that kind of a snot layer that protects you from the occasional splashes of acid. Perfectly fine to do that for a week or two. And then if you have a stomach ulcer or a duodenal ulcer, you can take Nexium or Zegerid for 6 weeks. Totally appropriate and fine. What's not appropriate and not safe is to take the proton pump inhibitor and just take it for months and months and months, because every time you stop taking it, you're going to have a rebound acidity that's going to feel like, oh God, it's coming back. But that's just your body rebounding because you stopped taking the blocker.
Well, and also poor diet.
Right, exactly. And if you have an underlying poor diet, an inflammatory diet full of grains and full of liquid dairy and full of industrial seed oils, that's what's causing your chronic heartburn. Stop that crap and it'll get better, I promise.
I'm hoping Baby Berry has a lot of hair, but not because I've had heartburn, because I haven't had any heartburn.
Not yet. That's good.
Thank goodness.
That's good.
But I do every now and then kind of burp a little bit, but that's it.
Yeah. It's very common in the first trimester to have a little laxening of the sphincter at the bottom of your esophagus, and you can have some, like, you just be like, oh, I thought I had to burp, and there was a little something there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I have a little repeat. I call it repeat offenders because I'll be like, oh, there's my lunch again.
There's my lunch.
But
I didn't expect it.
for the most part, I haven't had.
That's
and
wonderful.
I've had some very serious heartburn in the past. Most of the time, it was when I was drinking alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the first time I had it, I was like, I think I'm having a heart attack, which doesn't make any sense because I'm 23 years old. But yeah.
And if you can have an occasional drink and it doesn't cause heartburn or any of the other problems that drinking too much can cause, have a drink. It's fine. But just realize if you have chronic heartburn and you drink, you need to stop drinking. Maybe forever, maybe just till it clears up, and then you can go back to just a more rational, occasional drink. And then that won't cause that. But yeah, if you drink too much, you will flat out have some reflux. Absolutely. I've seen a ton of people at the clinic and they'd be like, yeah, I drink every night, but I love it, so just give me the Prevacid. And I'm like, dude, not okay. Not okay.
Priorities.
Yeah, priorities, right? So have you seen any good questions or comments we need to address about this so far?
Rhett Butler.
Somebody has heartburn and a bull-headed baby?
Or bald-headed baby.
Oh, bald-headed baby. Okay. Bull-headed, bald-headed.
She said I had the awful heartburn.
I got you. Yeah, I don't think that old wives' tale is actually true.
Yeah. No, I haven't had any heartburn, just a little bit of regurgitation, but that's okay. For the most part, it's, somebody asked if I had issues with eating raw eggs while I was pregnant. I haven't eaten raw eggs, but I eat poached eggs, which has a really, really runny center, and I'm okay with that. But I've never eaten raw eggs, so it's not like I stopped because I was pregnant. I'm just not a fan. He, however, will eat them all the time.
I love raw egg yolk on my steak. It's one of my favorite condiments now.
Kathy says I get heartburn when I eat sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. Sugar, grains, industrial seed oils. And so the perfect blend of that would be a pizza crust. It's got all three. Also, the perfect blend of that would be a donut. It has all three. It has sugar, it has grains, and it has seed oils. And those things inflame your gut and they inflame your entire body. But one of the many things they can lead to is reflux, heartburn.
Someone says, can you talk about Barrett's esophagus?
Yeah. So if somebody has chronic reflux for months and months or years, they can have changes in the cells at the bottom of their esophagus. The cellular lining can actually have precancerous changes. Now, obviously, they need to fix their heartburn. They don't need to just take Nexium and say, okay, there you go, you fixed that. No, that didn't fix anything. You've got to fix the underlying problem in your diet. Then you'll stop having the reflux. If you have a sphincter problem, then you need to get that fixed. They actually have this new thing now. In the old days, it was a Nissen fundoplication, which they basically
I
brought.
don't even know what that
They
word
brought your
means.
stomach up and they wrapped it around your esophagus. And that would fix heartburn and fix hiatal hernia in a lot of people, but also then you could almost never throw up again. So if you got sick, you couldn't throw up. You're just screwed.
gosh.
And so that's a terrible side effect. You think, well, I don't want to throw up, so that's good.
you
But
feel like
if
it.
you need to throw up, you need to throw up. Yeah, that's hardwired for a reason.
Yeah.
Now they've got this thing. It's actually a ring of magnets that goes
I've seen
around.
that, but I didn't know
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
for
and
it.
it goes around your esophagus, and it lasts forever because it's a magnet. It never wears out, and so it actually can just correct that reflux if you have an anatomical problem. And a lot of doctors think that heartburn and reflux is always an anatomical problem, but I found in my experience, 99% of the time, it's an inflammatory problem from the diet. And when you fix the diet, you don't have to do any of the surgical procedures. But if you still have heartburn after you've been keto or carnivore for a few months, then you probably need to go see a gastroenterologist and let them run the scope and see what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said I was 23. No, I meant like in the past when I was 23
Yeah.
and drank a lot.
No, you're not 23 now.
But I'm not, unfortunately.
No.
I wish I was.
You still look 23.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. What about coffee? Some people say that coffee causes heartburn.
Well,
what do you think about that?
I don't think coffee probably actually causes the heartburn. For most everybody, it's what you're putting in your coffee. And so if you're putting the creamer, if you're putting skim milk, 2%, even whole milk, for some people, the protein and the lactose in the milk is so inflammatory that it can give you almost immediate heartburn. Very few people say, oh, black coffee gives me heartburn. Now, if you're already set up and you've already got, esophagitis and you've got a leaky sphincter because you've been blocking your stomach acid, then yeah, a little bit of coffee might actually make the reflux worse, but 90% of the time it's what you're putting in that coffee is what's giving you. It's just like people blame, oh, I had spaghetti last night and I have terrible heartburn because of all the spice in the sauce. No, it's the noodles, the wheat. That's what caused you to have the terrible heartburn.
Not what it feels like at the
It's-
time.
it's not, 'cause
you're
you
like,
burped it.
tomatoes are acidic. And
Right, and you
know.
burp and you taste the sauce. But remember, noodles don't have a taste. So how can you burp noodles? You can't. You don't taste it. All you taste is the tasty sauce, and therefore you think it must be the sauce. But it's not. The sauce almost never is the cause. It's almost always the stupid pasta.
Jessica Link, send me a message after this live is over because I don't really know what's happening with you.
What happened?
She said she was eating salt and it was making her throw up. Feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
That don't sound right.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Somebody said it's the donuts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the donuts.
MCT oil gives me immediate heartburn.
A lot of people have been telling me this, and more I have been using animal fats like butter, bacon grease, beef tallow, duck fat, chicken fat. We've been using the animal fats, and so I feel like for some people they're better. Some people don't do well with MCT or coconut oil.
Yeah. There's nothing magical about MCT oil, honestly. If you like it, fine. But if you don't like it, don't feel like you have to do it or you're not keto because
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. You can definitely be in ketosis and never touch MCT oil.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ghee is just as good.
Yes.
If not better.
Definitely.
So what about some natural things? A lot of people are asking about apple cider vinegar
Yep.
or baking soda.
Right. And so the bedrock of all this, before you get into any of the woo-woo, is you
It's your
gotta
diet.
fix your diet. You gotta fix your diet and have it fixed for maybe a few weeks or a few months. Then you say, okay, I still got a little heartburn. It's better, but it's not gone. Now what am I going to do? And so things that Nisha have found back when we used to have heartburn, apple cider vinegar.
With the mother.
With the mother. I used to keep a little jar of it at the office, 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a
Long time.
while. And so when I would have heartburn and I didn't want to keep taking the Nexium, because I used to take all the Nexium samples that the drug rep brought. I would take 2 a day for years because I didn't know about this. I was a doctor and didn't know how stupid it was to take Nexium every day for years. Because all I knew is I just had severe heartburn and I had stuff to do, so I had to fix it. But I got this apple cider vinegar with the mother, and I would take a swig and just swallow it down. Tastes awful, burns all the way down.
I don't think it tastes awful.
2 minutes later, heartburn was gone.
I like the way it tastes.
Okay, and a lot of people say, oh, it raises the acidity, but your stomach acid is so powerful. Taking a swig of apple cider vinegar, it doesn't meaningfully make your stomach acid stronger.
So how does it work then?
It just doesn't work that way. I'm not sure how it works. That's what I was getting to. But for me, it would stop the heartburn for hours when I would take a shot of apple cider vinegar.
But yeah, that makes sense. Like one sip, that wouldn't change
Right.
the acid.
No, it's not going to touch your acidity in your stomach.
Yeah.
The pH that we talk about, like a pH of 1. So from a pH of 1 to a pH of 2, that's not 1 point stronger. That's 100 times stronger. That's how you measure acidity in the pH scale. It's a power of 100, and the power of hydrogen is what it actually stands for. But it's orders of magnitude stronger. It's not just 1 point less or more.
We use Bragg's for those of you asking what brand. There's many brands out there. We just found that it has the true mother in it, which all that means is there's sediment in the bottom. You have to shake it up before you drink it
and take a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may be witchcraft. It may be witchcraft. Yeah.
Yeah, the mother is just.
It's the cloudy stuff at the bottom.
It's like bacteria, basically, right?
I think it's like the residue of the
yeah.
fermentation process.
Yeah. It's the magic.
And there's probably several. Let's talk about over the counter, because I think a lot of people think that over the counter Prevacid or Prilosec, and I think there's over the counter Nexium now. They think, well, that must be safe, or they wouldn't have let it over the counter. Absolutely false. Okay, it's safe to take for a few days if you need it for a few days, like we mentioned earlier. But taking over the counter Nexium, Prilosec, Prevacid for months and months or years and years is a seriously bad idea. You increase your risk of heart attack, pneumonia, dementia, brittle bones, early death. All of these things, the risk increases when you take up something that blocks your stomach acid. You're supposed to have the stomach acid. Stop blocking it. What you want to fix is the underlying problem that's allowing the acid to splash up into your esophagus and cause the pain. That's what you want to fix.
Can you talk about the pills, apple cider vinegar pills? Are they the same?
I can't imagine that they could possibly be the same. I've never tried them, but it'd be like if you took ribeye and made a pill out of it. I don't know. It just seems like you've processed any of the magic voodoo out of it. Yeah, I would just drink the apple cider vinegar.
What about pickle juice?
Pickle juice for some people. I've had many people say that they'll take a swig of pickle juice and that makes their heartburn go away. And again, that doesn't meaningfully change the stomach acid, but yet it relieves the heartburn.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
There needs to be patho behind this.
Yeah. Katie, we talked about Barrett's earlier. If you have Barrett's, you need to be followed by a physician, and you might need to take a proton pump inhibitor for 6 weeks or so, but you still do not need to be on a proton pump inhibitor for months and months or years and years. It is not safe for the rest of your body.
Paul thinks your wife is hot.
My wife is hot, Paul.
Yes, this is a sweatshirt from Ron John. I got it at Pensacola, and it's the softest thing I've ever felt in my life, and it's big and oversized and fluffy.
That must be a woman thing. I never gauged the softness of my t-shirts. But like her and Abby and Morgan will run and be like, oh my God, feel this t-shirt. I want this t-shirt. And I'm like, it just feels like a t-shirt to me.
I think that's a person thing.
Maybe a person
thing. You're just like,
Maybe.
you just don't care.
Are there any guys out there that you like gauge your t-shirts on the softness?
Robert Sykes was talking about.
Besides Robert Sykes. Anybody, put in the comments. I want to see if there's any other dudes out there that are like, this is the softest t-shirt ever.
Well, I'm sure they don't say it in that voice.
I imagine them saying it in that voice.
Pickle Pops, yeah. Make sure that your Pickle Pops are truly Pickle Pops, because some of these, like the Sonic pickle slushies, they are not. They've got sugar all up in those. But there's some Pickle Pops that are off Amazon that are really good.
Yeah.
That's what I've been.
Or you can make your own.
Or you can make your own.
For a buck, you can get the popsicle molds at Wally
cheap.
World. For a buck, and then you can get a gallon of pickles and pour the juice in there and put it in the freezer.
That's messy.
It's 100% pickle juice.
They're
you know what it
cheap.
is.
Yeah, so is the ones that you get off Amazon.
Okay, all right,
They're
all
cheap
right, I
because
gotcha.
it's just
Hey,
pickle
Jared.
juice and it's in a package, and you feel like you're eating a popsicle. You know, some people need that brain mentality thing. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I do. I know what you're saying.
Hank Buck says he does, and not in that voice.
I still hear it in that voice.
Adam says testosterone blocks the softness factor.
I think that's what it is, Adam. I think I just can't. I'm like, it's just a
whatever.
damn shirt. I don't feel nothing.
Vicky says my husband cares.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm not saying it's not a thing. I don't get it myself.
Oh, hey, Elizabeth wants to know: can Hashimoto's cause an increase of acid?
No, probably not. There's no physiology I can think of how having Hashimoto's or really any other autoimmune condition would make you have acid reflux. Because remember, the acid's not the problem. Acid is good. Acid in the stomach is good for you. You want a very strong acid in your stomach. And so I don't think Hashimoto's would make the acid stronger or weaker. Maybe somehow indirectly it might relax the sphincter and you'd have more symptoms of reflux. But the acid is supposed to be there. It is your friend. It's like wrapping yourself in a hug.
Mm-hmm.
See, I heard that in that voice too.
Whatever. Okay.
It's like I'm wearing a hug all day.
No.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
If you can't drink apple cider vinegar straight, you can absolutely dilute it.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
fine.
Yes,
That
you
doesn't
can dilute it.
change
Yeah. And
anything.
some people, I've had people
That's
tell
a
me,
physical change,
yeah,
not a chemical change.
right. Some people say if they just drink a full glass of cold water, that'll make their heartburn go away. You see? And so I think it's just the addition of anything. And what you're most likely doing is flushing the acid out of your esophagus back down into your stomach, is what I would think the common sense answer is.
What is silent reflux?
Silent reflux is actually quite important. So a lot of people, they won't have pain. They won't have heartburn. They'll just have a chronic cough. And one of my grandmother's brothers had this, and he
And your
popped
dad has this
Rolaids
too, right?
all the time. He literally had Rolaids in his pocket for 45 years, and he was overweight and diabetic. He had metabolic syndrome, but we didn't know about that back then. But if he got reflux, he didn't have pain. He would cough, and he would cough so much he couldn't even talk hardly. And so you can actually do lung damage because of chronic heartburn. That's why it's so important to fix the underlying problem. There's actually people who wind up on the lung transplant list because they have such severe fibrosis from the silent reflux that it destroys their lungs. You got to fix the underlying problem.
You got Adam tore up over this t-shirt.
So
He's
the
being real witty.
caring about t-shirt softness is inversely proportional to your testosterone level.
He said octave of your voice.
Or the octave of the voice. Either way, that's just an indirect, that's a surrogate marker for testosterone level. Isn't that right, Dr. Nally?
Ew. Somebody asks how much apple cider vinegar. We take a shot glass.
Yeah. So what, 2 ounces?
It's 1 ounce. I
1
think.
ounce, 2
Yeah.
ounces? Yeah. Yeah. And
I
so,
don't think it has to be a certain amount. Just take a swig.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
and if you're you ate some stupid crap at a party and you've got some heartburn later, it's fine to pop a Tums or a Rolade. So it's fine to take a Zantac or a Pepcid. It's fine to take a Nexium. But then that's it. You're done. Because you're not going to keep eating stupid. You're going to stop that. And then the reflux will just go away. Now, a lot of doctors who are gastroenterologists who know about what we're talking about, they recommend that you try to switch from a proton pump inhibitor like Nexium, Prevacid, Prilosec, Acifex over to an H2 blocker, which is like Zantac, Pepcid, Ranitidine, and there's Axid. There's 2 or 3 more. But they work by a different mechanism. And so you can actually control your heartburn while you're getting off the proton pump inhibitor. And then after maybe a month of taking the Axid, Pepcid, Zantac, Ranitidine, then you can stop that. That's another great strategy to wean down and stop. I like that too.
So we're going to take the time now. 30 minutes in, we do a little housekeeping. So now we're
Okay.
going to talk about what we're going to be doing for the next week or
Yes.
2 weeks because we have a lot of places to be.
Yep.
So we just got back from 3 weeks being gone, and now coming up on Thursday, we're going to be in Little Rock. If you go under the events tab on this page that we're on right now, it'll show you all the dates that I'm fixing to talk about. So Little Rock on Thursday at the Barnes & Noble there. The address should be on that post. Then on Saturday we will be in Atlanta
Yep.
at a Barnes and Noble in Atlanta, and that'll be at 2 p.m. The
Yep.
one on Thursday is at 7 p.m. And
Mm-hmm.
then on Tuesday
Yes.
we will be in Louisville,
What time?
7 p.m.
Where at?
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, and all these are under the events tab. And then after that, we'll be in Austin for KetoCon, but we'll also do a book signing while we're in Austin with Jimmy and Christine Moore.
At Book People? Is that what
Book
it's-
People.
Yep.
Yes, but I'm not sure which Book People. I got to get the address.
Oh, there's more than one.
Yeah, there's several. I think
Well,
it's
that's
the Austin, Texas chain. What do you
Yeah.
mean it's confusing?
Well,
There's
there's
a lot
more-
of Barnes and Nobles too.
Well, we expect that to be a chain. I thought Book People was just
It's a Texas chain.
it's a Texas chain. Okay, got it.
I'm
got it,
assuming.
got it.
Although there's several of them.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah. So that will be the book signing will be on Thursday.
Yep. Anybody watching, is there a Barnes and Noble in your town and you want us to come see you and sign some books? Type the name of the city where the Barnes and Noble is.
Louisville is on Monday, not on Tuesday.
Oh,
Sorry.
Louisville's on Monday,
Sorry.
not Tuesday.
My bad. There's so many
At
things.
7?
It's at 7.
At 7 p.m. in Louisville. Okay.
The closest place to Dallas will be in Austin.
We'll be in Austin.
Hopefully, we will be in Nashville very soon.
Yeah, yeah, we're working
And
on.
we're working on a lot of things in Nashville
Yeah, there's 3 bookstores that we're working on in Nashville right now, trying to get a signing set up.
and other things. You know,
Oh, your Airbnb didn't have a copy of my book.
B&B, Barnes and Noble.
Oh, your barn. That's not B&B.
It's B
B and
and B.
B and-
B and N, I'm
B
in.
and-
But you said Airbnb and that threw me off.
Well, I think it said B&B.
It said B and N.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, and some will have them in stock. Some they have them in the warehouse, and so you just have to ask for
My
it.
B and N didn't even have your book.
Ah, I got you. It's in the computer on Barnes and Noble. Some of them stock it in the store. Some of them have it just in the warehouse.
The more popular it becomes, hopefully they'll
Yeah.
put it on the shelves in all of
yeah.
them. But right now,
Come
they're
back to
just on a
Utah.
few.
You want to go back to Utah?
Love Utah.
Yeah, we love Utah. It's awesome. Southern California. What city though, Teresa May?
We'll actually be in San Diego.
Yeah. When is that? I don't know yet. For
It's
low
the week
carb.
after Keto Fest. So in July.
In
like
July.
Third weekend in July. Something like that.
Does Dothan, Alabama, have a Barnes and Noble?
Any bookstore, really. I
Yeah,
think.
any bookstore, but Barnes and Noble they really like to do book signings. So San Jose, yeah, I'd go to San Jose. That'd be fun.
Yeah, Texas is definitely big enough to have
It
its
is
own
true.
chain.
It is really big. Naples, Florida.
Naples.
Yep, I'd do that.
Yes, the events calendar is on the page that we're on right now. If you go to the top of the page, it says like photos, videos, and then there's an events tab. And if you click on that, it'll have all the dates that we've talked about. And there'll be more to come. So check
Yep.
back on that and see if we've added new places.
Absolutely. Does anybody have questions about heartburn, reflux, gastritis, ulcers, the proton pump inhibitors, the H2 blockers, Rolaids, Tums, Pepcid, any of that stuff? Mylanta. What else? What else do people take for heartburn?
Those are the main ones.
Yeah, I think I covered them all.
Yeah.
Any questions about that? Type it in the comments. We'll try to answer as many as we can.
How much different is the second book than the first book?
The second
question.
edition of Lies My Doctor Told Me has 4 new chapters. It has illustrations. It's a much bigger book. Each chapter I corrected all the typos because Victor Belt actually has an editor, which is cool. And they caught all the errors. Hey Nancy, how you doing? And we corrected all the errors. There's new stuff in every chapter, but there's 4 new chapters. And then also all the patrons are listed in the front of the book. $5 and up, they're listed.
Well, the patrons from that
From back
time.
then, yeah, of course we can't go into the future. And so when I write my next book, all of the $5 and up patrons will be in that book.
What about on the Audible? Will we update the list on there for the like?
Well, I don't think we'll be able to have that. in the
Sometimes there's a
Audible.
companion like PDF or something on some of those Audibles.
Yeah. We could have a companion PDF, and it could be in
Yeah.
that. Yeah, definitely. And it'll have all the illustrations and all that stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're working
It's a
on
good
stuff in
idea.
Nashville. I promise. It's sometimes it's harder to do things in your backyard than it
Mm-hmm.
is to do it far away, and I don't really know what that is, but several people have had that problem. I don't know why.
So, I saw a question go by. What if I've been taking a proton pump inhibitor for years, and I didn't know it was bad, and now I know, and so I've either just stopped it or I'm going to wean down and stop it. How can I undo the damage that's been done? Good question. Yeah. What should you do?
Change your diet.
Fix your diet. Absolutely. Fix your diet. Stop eating all the sugar. Stop eating all the grains. Stop eating all the seed oils. And eat real, whole, ketogenic foods. And you'll fix all your deficiencies, whether it's calcium, whether it's magnesium. You'll have your very strong stomach acid back. It will protect you from infections. You won't be, and so as the longer you're not taking it, the lower your risk will be of getting all those things we talked about. Now, you may have done a little permanent damage, but all you can do from this day forward is do the best you can do, and that means stop the acid blocker and fix your diet. And then you're going to have the best life you can possibly have by doing that, along with the best health, which goes hand in hand.
No, the audible's not ready yet. We've had a hiccup, but it's coming.
Had a little hiccup. I'm going to record it the first week of July, probably, or second week of July.
Yes, no, first week.
Maybe. I haven't heard
Hopefully.
back. But, and then after that, they have to edit it and do all the direction and production. And then so probably August 1. I know. It seems like it's taking
It's
forever.
like-
I know.
But it's coming. We promise. Yes, it's coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shreveport, LA. Look, every time I hear someone say Shreveport, all I think about is True Blood, and I love it.
Yeah, we would come down there just to check out the vampire scene.
I love Louisiana. But it's really hot, so I'm going to wait till it's a little, well, I don't know. Does it even get cool in Louisiana?
Probably not much.
No.
What do you see there? Any good questions?
What about Alka-Seltzer?
Yeah, Alka-Seltzer works fine, and it's good for occasional heartburn. There's no problem taking that every now and then. After you've had a night, the morning after you've made some bad choices the night before, Alka-Seltzer's that's perfect, yeah. But you don't want to take Alka-Seltzer every day of your life for months and months or years and years.
If any of you guys watching see someone ask a question that we've already answered, please make sure and tell them that to watch the replay because we talked about that because the comments are going by, but I don't want people to think we're just not talking about it.
And our patrons and supporters, if you see a newbie question, feel free to reach out and lovingly help your younger sister or brother along.
Cody says, being pregnant has caused me to have terrible heartburn. I'm on Protonix and Zantac. Is that something that I should worry about?
Not taking it just for a few weeks while you're in the worst part of this, because heartburn usually doesn't last the entire pregnancy. And as you slowly, and you can absolutely eat keto while you're pregnant. And so just slowly convert your diet over so you're eating only real healthy fatty meat, real healthy green veg, and you'll notice the heartburn gets better first of all as you progress through the pregnancy, but secondly as you fix your diet. And then you probably will only need it for a few weeks.
And if you'll prop yourself up a little bit, that'll help instead of laying flat because that really
and actually
helps nothing.
I have a YouTube video that's about 15 minutes long that goes into all the natural ways that you can improve your heartburn symptoms while you're getting off of this. And I did it about a year ago, I think. But if you just search Dr. Berry reflux or Dr. Berry heartburn, you should find that on YouTube.
You can put Dr. Berry whatever into YouTube, and if there is
Just
a
about.
video, it will pop up. And
Just
he's
about,
made one for just about everything.
Yeah, I've got over 200 videos on there now, so I'm trying to cover every disease, every diagnosis, every condition that you could possibly have and suffer from. I tried to make a YouTube video about it so that you've got that reference there, always on YouTube if you need it.
Kurt says, I took acid blockers for 40 years. Now, no more.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And so every day, Kurt, you're decreasing the risk of having those bad complications because you stop taking it. That's the most important thing is you just got to stop taking it.
Is avocado oil considered a seed oil?
Avocado oil is the seed of a fruit, right? Not a vegetable. And so the seed oils are different from that. The really inflammatory bad seed oils are canola, corn oil, sunflower, safflower, peanut, soybean. Those are the terrible oils. Avocado oils is fine for most people. There are some very few people that even the oil from avocado and coconut bother them. And those are the people that should probably use animal fats only. But most people do fine with avocado and coconut.
You have a video on GERD already, don't you?
I do on the natural ways to reverse it. Yeah.
There's a video about that.
You and I did a Facebook Live forever ago that I also posted on YouTube, but it's like 45 or 55 minutes
Just
long.
type in Dr. Berry GERD.
Yep,
and
or
it
Dr.
should
Berry
pop up.
heartburn, and it should pop
Heartburn,
up.
yeah.
And so somebody said they had an ulcer and they're on pantoprazole. Is that safe? It is safe to take for 2 to 6 weeks, but it's not safe to take it long term. You're not going to have that ulcer. An ulcer is just like a cut on your skin. It's going to heal if you have fixed the underlying problem. If you have a bacteria called Helicobacter pylori, they actually have changed the name of it now, but it used to be H. pylori. That's what most people still call it. Then you need to you talk to your doctor, and he'll give you or she will give you what you need to fix that infection. Then the ulcer is going to heal and go away. You don't have an ulcer forever. Ulcers are short-term erosions. They heal once you fix your diet. And if you have the bacteria, you got to fix that too.
Yeah, Crisco's bad also.
Crisco's terrible.
Yeah.
Margarine is terrible. I can't believe it's not butter. All that crap. Any vegetable shortening or vegetable oil, throw it in the garbage. It is not fit for human consumption. Don't even give it to your dog. Definitely don't give it to your cat. It'll make them sick.
Yes, CBD oil is fine.
Yep, CBD oil is fine. Although I don't think you should probably cook with it.
No, but I think they
You
were
should
just
use it for
asking
other things.
It's too precious and expensive to cook
Right.
with.
Don't fill up your fried daddy with
Can
CBD
you
oil.
eat too much butter? That depends on why you're asking this question. Is too much butter unhealthy? No. Can you eat too much butter and not burn the fat on your butt?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
But it's definitely not unhealthy.
Yeah, eat butter to taste, eat salt to taste, eat bacon to taste.
And satiety,
Yeah.
not just taste. Because you could just keep eating it to taste forever. He could.
Yeah, Crisco was the vegetable gateway vegetable oil. That's exactly right. Absolutely.
Sesame oil is bad.
Yeah, sesame oil it's a seed oil. You don't want that. And the main reason the seed oils are unhealthy is because they use chemicals to get the oil out of the seed. Just think about sesame seeds. You've had a handful before. They're not oily. You can't, so if you can find cold pressed sesame seed oil, it may not be as bad, but it's much cheaper for the big corporations to use hexane and other chemicals, and then they have to use detergents, they have to use deodorizers, they have to get rid of the color. All that stuff adds chemicals to it, and it messes up the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, and it also messes with the bonds in between each carbon atom. You don't want that.
Hi, Yelena.
Hi.
Do you remember Yelena?
Yeah.
So sad seeing people at the cinema pouring liquid margarine on popcorn.
That butter at the movie theater, that stuff is like Satan's breast milk. Do not eat that crap. There's no telling what's
You're
in
not
that.
compare that to breast milk.
Well, I know that's a bad analogy. It's Satan's breast milk. Like,
Satan's something, but not breast milk.
some Satan secretion.
Saliva.
Do not
Satan's
eat.
saliva. There you go.
Satan slobber. Yeah, that's
There you
better.
go,
Okay,
Satan
but
slobber.
do not eat that, please. Don't eat the popcorn either. Sneak in some nuts. Sneak in some ribeye strips. Do not eat any of the crap at the movie theater. Teenage kids are preparing your food. That can't go wrong, right? Yeah, so don't do that. Sneak in real food until they start having broccoli and ribeye at the theater.
Do you believe that some people have high cholesterol due to family history?
Yes, definitely. And I don't think high cholesterol is bad, but a lot of people have something called familial hypercholesterolemia, and that their cholesterol level is higher because of genetics. Yes, that doesn't mean it's dangerous. Don't worry about that. There's no such thing as cholesterol that's too high. That's something we've been taught, and it's false knowledge. It's not true.
That's going to catch.
Which part? Satan
Same
slobber?
No, the breast milk part, probably. Dawn, I actually have a hair tutorial on my YouTube channel. If you just type in Nisha Messy Bun Tutorial, it'll pop up, and there you go. It's very easy.
Yeah. And I actually don't have any hair tutorials.
He needs a haircut. It's
I need a
so
haircut, yeah.
long. Look at this. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
It's
got
rough
hair.
looking. It's rough
I got
looking.
hair. It's because I eat my meat.
Sherry says, Dr. Berry, you're saving my life. I've lost 80 pounds and I'm off all of my meds.
Yes, I love that.
You
That is-
are saving your life.
You're saving your own life, honey.
Yes.
That is so awesome. And please, if any of you guys have had similar stories like that, stop being shy. share your story. Okay, go out in public. When people say, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" Tell them, keto happened to me. Start a Facebook page, start an Instagram page, start a YouTube channel. That's the only way this is going to change, is with all you guys sharing your story. Don't ever be shy about sharing. Now, don't be a keto preacher or a low-carb apostle. Nobody wants that. But if people ask you, they just gave you permission to tell them how to improve their own health.
This is a really good question from Margaret. How can you tell if it's fat or the glue in meat? Because there's this video going around that's like, this isn't fat, this is meat glue.
Yeah.
So how can you tell the difference?
I don't know that you can. USDA Prime, like, the grade A or whatever, is not supposed to have meat glue. And so that's one way to assure it, is just to make sure you're not buying the super, super cheap cut of ribeye. Like, how could ribeye be that cheap? It's probably got meat glue in it. Now, is meat glue terrible? No, it's just really, a lot of people use meat glue in other recipes. Yeah. It's not terrible, but it just sounds awful. Yeah. But it's really...
It's got the word glue in it.
Yeah, but it's actually made of meat byproducts, so it's still carnivore.
Yeah.
But
it's just not ultimately.
Buy a good enough cut of meat that you don't...
Not optimum.
Yeah, exactly. Meat glue just sounds bad, doesn't it?
It really does sound horrible.
Yeah.
Tammy Sue says, I'm off my diabetic meds due to keto. Best decision I ever made in my life.
Absolutely. Now just make it a sustainable way of eating and live a happy life.
Megan Elizabeth says, I'm 74 pounds down since January.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Can you use butter to help up your calories?
Yeah. First of all, don't count calories.
Hang on. I'm not done.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
You said not to eat 700 or less. That is starvation. I eat one meal a day, and I don't think I get that many calories, even if I eat till I'm stuffed.
Okay. So if you let your hunger be your guide, nobody except a small child is going to eat 700 calories a day total. It's just not going to happen. Let your hunger be your guide.
Are you eating one meal a day because you're only hungry one time a day, or are you thinking you need to eat one meal a day because everyone's doing it?
To lose fat or to try to be carnivore? Yeah. Not everybody has to eat one meal a day to do this. Some people eat 2 big, healthy meals a day on keto or carnivore, and they do great.
Well, we say have an eating window, which means you have like 4 hours to eat. You might eat twice or you might eat once, but you're not it's not like I only eat once a day. That's fine too.
But if you're hungry after your one meal, eat more meat, eat more real food.
Especially if you're eating 700 calories.
That's not going to be enough. Yeah. But I want you to add more nutrition. Don't just add butter to up your calories. I want you to eat more meat because you need the nutrition.
Kurt says, my doctor was concerned on my LDL, and I told him to chill.
Chill, brother, on the LDL. Don't worry about it. And tell your doctor, what I want you to worry about, doctor, is my A1C and my C-peptide and my HDL and my triglycerides and my CRP, my inflammatory markers. I want you to really worry about those things, but I want you to give my total cholesterol and my LDL a break. I don't want to talk about them.
Scott says, I went from a 9.1 A1C to a 5.0, and I'm no longer diabetic.
That is sexy. You have reversed type 2 diabetes. That's impossible.
Is it?
Is it? Is it, though? Yeah.
Do you need to eat all macros in one meal? Well, there are people eating carnivore and they're not eating any carbs whatsoever, but they are eating fatty cuts of meat like ribeye and brisket and bacon and stuff like that.
So macros are something that we used to talk about. And when you first start keto, macros kind of help you think about food in a new way and they help you understand. But I don't want anybody trying to eat to their macros every day for months and months and months and for the rest of their life. That's boring. That's not fun. Plus, once you've retrained your body how to eat like a human, you don't have to keep doing that. So if you even still count your macros, I want you to try to never hit your carb macro. Always try to stay under that. And I want you to eat lots of fatty meat. And that way you're getting plenty of protein and plenty of fat. And do that until you're full. If you're still hungry, eat some more.
Oh my gosh, listen to this. Deb Elliott.
Yeah.
Hey, Deb. She says, I have an issue with a lot of mad emojis. I'm absolutely disgusted. My insurance has partnered with Weight Watchers. WTF, I'm not going to eat like Oprah.
Yeah, wow.
That is crazy.
Yeah, if you want to yo-yo up and down 50 or 100 pounds, then do Weight Watchers. If you'd like to have a sustainable, tasty, delicious, fulfilling diet, then don't eat Weight Watchers. Wow, that insurance company, man, have they not checked Weight Watchers stock? Yeah.
It's kind of scary, though.
Weight Watchers is over.
How much did they pay the insurance company?
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Yeah, they probably paid them to do that.
I smell a conspiracy.
Something fishy in them waters.
I want a fast to do a cleanse. How long do you recommend a fast for?
So fasting is the ultimate cleanse. If you want to cleanse your liver, cleanse your kidneys, cleanse your entire body, then fast. Some people fast. I fast every day for about 20 hours a day. Now on the cruise I didn't. I ate 2, sometimes 3 meals a day, but they were keto meals. But it was kind of like a feast. It was a celebration. You know, I was with all our people.
And we were walking.
Yeah, we were very, very active.
The time.
And so I would recommend that you try to do a 24-hour fast if you really want to give your liver and kidneys time to clean themselves well. Because you got to remember, they're self-cleaning ovens. You never have to buy anything to cleanse your liver or cleanse your kidneys. All you have to do is just drink water and don't eat. And they will cleanse every toxin out of them that they possibly can. 24, 48 hours, I think, is about as long as you need to fast to do a good cleanse like that.
Robbie says, my school says carnivore is not something that is healthy long term and that your body has to have carbs. What are your thoughts? I'm surprised I haven't been failed yet because I stand my ground.
Yeah, so circle the answer on the test that you need to make an A, because I want you to make good grades. But at the same time, human beings, there are whole cultures of human beings who have eaten nothing but animal products and animal meat for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's obvious that human beings can do just fine on animal products only. The Inuit and the Maasai, those are 2 cultures that live for thousands of years eating just fatty meat. And so yes, definitely humans can do that. But don't get in an argument at school. You want to make an A.
Does it matter what kind of water they're drinking for a fast? Tap water, filtered water, distilled
Yeah,
water?
I would drink either
pH-balanced water.
Yeah, distilled or reverse osmosis. You can, if you've got a Soda Stream, you can bubbleize it. I like doing that. I like having the sparkling water. You can use Gerald Steiner. You can use San Pel or even Perrier. I think all those are fine to fast with.
Here's a good one. This is going to be a last question, all right? This is a good one.
Good.
Shelly says, what do you tell people that say ketosis is not determined by what foods you eat? So you can eat corn, wheat, whatever, and still be keto.
Yeah.
We say to those people...
Yeah. Actually, if you have low enough amount of carbohydrates of those things, you can be in ketosis. But this is about much more than just being in ketosis. Do you want to be in ketosis but still be inflamed? No. Then why would you eat wheat? Why would you eat that crap?
It's not just about weight loss.
Yeah, it's not. This is not about weight loss. First of all, it's about fat loss, but it's also about getting rid of inflammation and reversing chronic disease. And you can't do that if you're still eating the poisons that made you sick to start with. Stop that.
You can drink a bottle of canola oil and be in ketosis too.
That's right. You absolutely could.
Does that mean it's healthy?
No,
I don't think so.
You could probably drink a quart of motor oil and be in ketosis. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's gross. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But you could be in ketosis. You could fast and eat rat turds, and you'd be in ketosis. I don't recommend that. It's more than just being in ketosis. We want you to be healthy. We want you to live to be 130 and look 70 when you're 130. That's my goal.
A lot of people who are bastardizing the name keto because it's becoming so popular. It's hard to keep it basic level.
Yep.
It's taken on this whole new life, and there's all these products and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not about fat loss. I mean, it's about fat loss, but it's also about health optimization and biohacking your body.
Right. So let me be very clear. In order to do a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet or anywhere on that spectrum, you don't need to buy a single product that has keto on the package. Not a single one. You don't need any of it. You don't need to buy any of that stuff. You don't even need to buy keto books. Just watch free YouTube videos and free Facebook Lives and you'll get the gist of it. It boils down to this. Human beings are supposed to eat lots of fatty meat and maybe a little bit of veg. That's keto. Do that and enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks once again to our patrons and our Facebook supporters. We love you guys like family. We'll be back next week. Same time, same channel.
Except we won't be live like this. You'll be hearing him do his live from the book
Or at the
signing.
book signing. That's right.
So, yeah, tune in to see that. We'll be broadcasting.
And we'll take some
that
questions.
live.
Yeah, while we're live, and then I can answer the questions for you and for the live audience. Absolutely. And we'll be live tomorrow night in the private supporter and patron page.
Yeah, at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock Tuesday nights. That's when we do that. So if you would like to join that group, either become a Facebook supporter or sign up at patreon.com for $3 or more a month, and you're in like Flynn. Okay,
right.
guys, we love you.
Love you. Bye.
See ya.